Hello and welcome. My name is Gary, and today we're going to be doing a little work on my John Deere 1025R. As luck would have it, occasionally things do break on your tractors, and I've actually got 3 issues with mine. 2 that the video is going to be about today, and 1 that I'll do a separate video, a standalone video. But we'll talk about that just briefly. That 1 issue is on my chute actuator. It started working, or stopped working rather, but it will work when it's in the shop, when it's nice and warm and dry. Now when I get it outside when it's cold, either it goes down and just won't come back up, or it just flat out it's not going up or down at all. So it's switch controlled in my cab, and like I said, I got that from Merit Automation about 4 years now. This will be the 4th winter with it. So it actually started giving me some problems the tail end of last winter. And I reached out to Merit Automation, and they sent me the new limit switches, is what he figures it is. So never tore one apart, so I'll do a video on that and show what I can find and see if I can get it fixed. If not, well, I'm going to order another one, because it's just too nice to have, to be able to control where you want to put the snow. So to get to the meat and potatoes of what today's video is going to be about, it's going to be about 2 other issues I have with my tractor. And my wife was using a tractor when it first started happening, or it stopped working. So I have a little stereo inside there with some speakers in the headliner there. And anyways, she told me, she's like, yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, she goes, but the stereo stopped working. So it is wired. I brought the wires up the back of the cab wall and up into the ceiling here, the roof part, and that's where I pulled power. And I pulled power where it's not a key on situation, so it's just hot all the time. Basically, you just hit the button on the radio and you're able to listen to music. It's kind of nice if you stop the tractor and you want to have the door open, you're doing some work with the rake or something like that, you can still listen to some music, you know. And the other issue is, the most important one is up top here, is this light bar. And I purchased that from Walmart. Again, I think when I first bought the tractor, maybe the end of the first winter or something like that. The headlights that the tractor comes with, I mean, they're great for just doing, I guess, normal stuff. But when you start blowing snow and you got the snow dust flying around and stuff like that, the light bar just cuts right through all that. And I mean, I like to say we're off grid because that gets a lot more views, but sorry I blew up like that. Anyways, we don't live off grid, but we live out in the country, out in the middle of nowhere basically. And our half-mile road, it's darker than dark. There's no street lights or nothing. So when you're out there snow blowing, and Alaska's winters, there's more darkness than there is light. So 9 times out of 10, it's you know, either you start in the dark or you finish snowblowing in the dark. So it's nice to have that light. So a couple things with that light bar. It is also wired to where I don't have to turn a key on or nothing like that to make it work. One of the nice things with the light bars, it comes with a little remote, and I'll show you later, but that remote I put right up here. So you just push the button on the remote and that powers up the light. So I have took the battery out of that and checked the voltage on the battery with a multimeter, and it is good. I have the 3 volts that it's supposed to have, so I don't think that's the issue. And the other thing that I did troubleshoot is the pigtail where the power comes from the power source under the hood or roof it goes to the light there. I checked that with a multimeter as well, and I got no voltage. So I'm thinking my connection up underneath the roof is just probably come loose with vibration. Apparently I didn't install it correctly. So anyways, that's what today's video is going to be about. I'm going to have to take the roof off of the tractor and get in there and see what's going on. So like it if you come along, and hopefully get this problem fixed. And you know, if nothing else, if the light bar is bad, I'll go buy a new one. So stereo, I can live without that, but light bar, no. So anyways, thanks for tuning in, and like I say, I hope you'll stick with me. So I mentioned earlier I'd show you that remote. So let's go inside the tractor and I'll show you real quick. I think this is in one of my other videos, but basically that's it right there. It has all kinds of functions, and I just basically turn it on, turn it off, but it has strobe features and all that kind of good stuff, which make your eyes go buggy. And the stereo I'm talking about, that's it right there. I made my own little box and popped that baby in a box, and it's been working fabulous until it stopped working. There's my speakers that all this was basically stuff I purchased from Walmart as well. Yeah, sounds amazing. So, and I've given it some really serious thought, and the wires for the stereo, I got them all taped up and everything, and it's kind of I like to have it where there's not a lot of excess wire, so there's not a lot of excess wire to tug and pull on, and I'm just not feeling like taking all that tape off and trying to diagnose to see if I have power that way. So I think I'm just gonna jump right to it. And up top here, if you can see, there's 4 bolts. You can't see the other side, but there's 4 bolts that hold that cab on there, and my light bar bracket will come off as well. So I believe that's where I'm going to go first. I'm just going to go right to that and see if that's where the problem is, because I believe that is where the problem lies. The connection has probably just come loose. So anyways, I will get to taking that roof off. So I found the culprit. It was basically a blown fuse. Couldn't find power up top there at first. I couldn't seem to see what was going on, why I didn't have power where I had my light bar plugged into and my stereo hooked into. So I went in here to your fuse panel on the right side of your tractor and pulled all those fuses and checked all of them first, and everything was good there. There wasn't any issue there, but where it's wired in up top of, when you take the roof off, you see that last switch, which is not being used. There's where that little door is hinged down, there's a fuse inside there. Well, after I was up top and seen where my wires were hooked to, I thought, well, I'm going to look down below here and see if there's any reason why that wouldn't be working. And there's a fuse in there, so pulled the fuse out. Sure enough, the fuse had popped. So another thing I noticed too when I was in the cab is this was no longer working. So I actually had another issue going on I wasn't aware of. So I'll show you real quick. The stereo does come on like so. And I'll take you up top here and show you what I figured probably was what caused it. I am not 100% sure, but so we're up top now, and I'm going to try to do my best to explain this to you. But if you see this black electrical tape and this little red thing sticking out and this other little deal right here, that is the wire that leads to my light bar. And then from the same power source, the silver colored wire or speaker wire there that you see, those two are going down to that unused switch receptacle down below. So that's where the power is coming from. And the only thing I can figure is when I come up here, this was inside of the plastic part. The blue part was inside of the red part there, but it wasn't plugged in. It was just kind of in there loose. So the only thing I can think of is that was maybe making connection and not making connection, and that was enough to short out the fuse. I did go and spend some time and followed all my wires going back and around to the other side and made sure that there was no chafe marks or nothing where it rubbed through, and everything looks good. I mean, I ran them pretty good and taped them and zip tied them up nice and tight so that they wouldn't rub or chafe through, because I don't want to have a fire, number one, or just don't want to have to redo what I've already did, which is what I'm doing today. But so anyways, replace that fuse down below. Everything seems to be working fine. So I'm going to put this back together with some electrical tape, maybe see if I can zip tie it somehow so it can't work itself loose again. But anyways, that was the problem, and so I'm going to get to putting things back together rather, and everything should be golden after that. Should have a stereo and should have a light bar. So anyways, hopefully some of this was informative and helpful to you. If nothing else, I guess you've got to see what it looks like underneath the top of a Mauser cab. So that's where your speakers mount back there. So pretty simple if you ever want to put different speakers in there. Mine didn't have speakers at all, so it's pretty accessible once you take the roof off. But anyhow, thanks again for coming along today. Appreciate you watching. Have a great day.